everyone, welcome to the Helix Beginners Guide. Today we're covering creating an RP server. So what that entails is essentially we will just have a big game with a package that is going to be pre-made, a world that we can get from the exchange, do a couple of setting things up, we're going to learn a couple of new things as well. And in this picture here, you'll be able to see some of the things that we'll be covering. So first of all, the goals that we're going to do today and aim for is download the RP core from the Git repo, how to set up your package using a custom map, using a persistent data store. First step is just to simply use our PCRP core. So we're going to go on our hub. So I've already got it here. We'll be on github.com/helixgame, something called RP core. Just as a warning, this will be subject to change very frequently. There'll be new updates, there'll be different versions, but this is the one I have at the moment. So if there's certain things that are broken, make sure just to put a comment below and try and help you as soon as possible. But at the moment, there's just this. We go over here to the code green button, download zip. You can also connect it to our GitHub desktop if you have that. But just to start off, we're going to download a zip. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our package and have it nice and ready for when we download this. And then I'm going to drag and drop it into our server package, unzip it, and then we'll play around with it. So it's done here. So you can just extract all or use WinRAR to quickly extract it. A lot more quicker. Go. And now delete this old one. And this is our RP. So the things we're going to focus on is this DB SQL source file here. Now we don't have to worry about it much. Then now we're going to head over to our normal source file in our server folder. I'm going to double click that. And right now this should be empty for you. And if you follow the last video, it might look like this as well. So we're going to delete that test part. Just going to have game mode set to name of the folder. Now the game mode. So a package is just multiple kind of plugins you can put in. So they can be, standalone code, but the RP core main is a standalone game mode. So we should set it to that. Now we have our game mode. All we can just do now is open the server and open our Helix client. So we have our Helix client open now. Got our server nice and ready. I'm going to join. Might take a little bit as if this is the first time you've set up the RP core. See, it's taking just a little bit. And what will happen is I already have data preset. So you'll see that I have a character already made. But if it's the first time you have this, we'll show up a prompt here in a second. We create a new character. I have my own. Choose like your gender, nationality, and birthday. Press play, and now you're in the world. And obviously, we've got all of these things around us, and it's a little bit disappointing, isn't it? We've got character moving around. We have markers, and we have all these UIs around us, but there's no actual map. Not much to do. Now we need to figure out a way to set everything up. First of all, if you want the database to work, it's fairly simple. So there's two things you need. You need something called XAMPP or XAMPP and a SQL manager. So all you need to do is just literally download, set up the manager. I have it already here. There's this control panel here now once you download it. want to look for MySQL, so it would most likely be the second one. Press start, wrap it up and everything. It'll give you this port. You need to remember this. Next step, go to your HELIX, or well, I'm using HELIX. You want to go to your SQL manager. I just prefer HELIX because that's what I'm used to. It's not the most up to date, but very nice and simple. It's easy for me to download here. Downloaded it over here. So I'm going to make, there will be no obviously session, so we have to make a new one. Call it test. Make sure it's MySQL as the host name, the IP the same as your server, has the same port as that XAMPP, and has user as root. And what that will do is it will connect the database to your game. Specifically asks something called root. Make sure there's no password. You don't want a password. We'll open it. Already have the database set up. All you would need to do, delete this one. Right click, create new database, call it example RP core, and open it, and it's empty. So now what's next? We need to actually have a package RP main, and we need to open up the SQL source file. You do Control F, ECRP-core. We need to replace all of these instances the name of our database, so it's RP-core. Replace all of that. Save. Drag and drop. Sorry, not drag and drop. Go on File. Load SQL file. We're then going to go to our SQL source file. Say big query here. Run. And it will essentially just set up a bunch of databases and tables just like this. But the downside to using this database class is it's not the easiest to set up once we have it in the world system. You'd have to have certain metadata in your game, and then you'd have to have a local, a dedicated server that you make for a database. And if you want to keep this low maintenance, not very realistic for you to do. So we instead recommend go to our API docs, go to static class, system database, and we'll read up on this one here. So at the moment it's fairly limited. Eventually it will be expanded upon once we get a bigger player base. And there's some code here that we want to use. If you want to keep it nice and simple, don't put this on the RP core main. You want to have a separate package. So I just tested this out earlier. I'll delete it. And then we go to the examples. We're going to just copy this, paste it. There's two things here. There's JSON and key. And they're being used over here. So what happens with this whole script is loaded. It's going to create a database. Once that's set up, it's going to print new space created. It's then going to insert with the key, unique key, this data over here. That's going to insert here, and then if it works, it's going to use function, and then it will print this here. And afterwards, it's going to straight away go to get my key. It's going to pass that exact same key, and it's going to return the data. Specifically, this person printed the table and had it as JSON format. Then got it as a variable, then printed a specific part. So it's JSON ret1. That'll just be one row. You'd kind of ignore that. And then you'd want to go to value, scripting key 1. That'd be here. So this, if you want to get specific parts, you would have to do this to get to the higher table. And we'll see how this works in a second. So now we're going to jump back to our packages folder and make a new folder called. And if you remember from the last video, we are using this to upload it to a world. We're going to go back here to our Helix hub, and then going to make a new world. Remember last time we made this one here. New world, world ID. I'm going to call it RP world. Say RP world again. Test. Description. We now made our world. Obviously now we need to do the requirements. We need to make a cover, and we'll need got just the basic picture. Second. Then the other important parts are config. We need to do quite a few things. So first of all, we need to upload our depot zip. That's done. We just drag, drop this folder. That's going to start uploading. And then over here, I'm going to get the map that we want. RP-downtown. That will give us that map. We'll show you the preview in a second. And then we need game mode be rp-core-main. Same thing as we did in the config.toml. rp core main game map. You now need to set the map. So we'll leave it blank for now. We don't know this detail just as we download this. Publish. So now this would just be a blank world, which is perfectly fine. Go to Exchange. Go to Maps. And look for RP Downtown. You just press the download, and then it will just directly start downloading to computer. You remember this asset ID here, what I typed in on the dependencies part earlier. I'll do it again just to remind you. World config rp-downtown. And now that is the asset ID. So we need to remember that again. And I've already downloaded it. So what happens is you just drag and drop it. You want to zip it, of course, as well. Over here. I'm going to go to the assets.toml. I'm going to find assets map. I'm going to copy this name. So that is the path to map. So I'm going to say rp-downtown. So that's the asset ID. And then we're going to do : paste that map name. That's literally it. Save and close. Exit this, and then we're going to join that server now. Obviously, if it's the first time you've used this map, it will be, you'll need to download it as well. So download it on the server and on your client. So it might take a little bit. Obviously, I've already got it downloaded, so I don't need to worry so much about it. It's not too big of a map, but you might expect that the game might take quite a while. So what I'll do is just show a preview of the video, because as well my computer's not very nice, so you'll get a better kind of picture of what the map really looks like on this preview. Now we've joined, and it has the map around us. Again, it's not the best quality for me. I hope the preview kind of gives it a better justice than my computer, because I've got it on fairly low graphics. Yeah, so now you have the map open. All you need to do is basically just set the position of the character to somewhere, as it naturally puts the player at like 0, 0, 0, 0. So you want to just maybe pick out here. So luckily we have a position on the UI here. You can see a wall. There's X is negative 3,605, etc. So you can just type that in, set the character's position over here, and then you'll spawn in just fine. And then, so I hope that makes you a bit more understanding of how to set everything up. You know, you've got your world, you've got your code now, and you're able to easily RP your game as well. Obviously, you might want to expand your knowledge a bit more by reading up on the API. I would recommend looking into VoIP, which is basically voice chat. Try and learn something about that. Maybe try and learn more about the persistent databases, and that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, make sure to put a comment in. Make sure to respond as soon as possible. Again, please don't forget there's Discord community, ask questions, and there's developers, there's creators. We're all, networking together, and they're discussing, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? So please don't feel, there's no one to talk to. There's plenty of people. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.